And we're back, folks, right here on hashtag AskGSM for February 15th, 2017. I'm Graham GSM Matthews. Hope you guys had a great Valentine's Day. Enjoyed Raw, SmackDown, and Elimination Chamber from Sunday night. It's been a pretty good week in the world of wrestling, I thought. Today was supposed to mark the debut of Lucha Underground on Netflix. For whatever reason, they pushed it back to the spring of 2017, whatever that means. That could be March, April, May, which kind of sucks. I was looking forward to that until they announced that it was going to be debuting in the spring, literally 3 days ago. So I'm kind of pissed off about that. But other than that, though, it's been a pretty good week in wrestling between Raw, SmackDown, 205 Live, and the pay-per-view on Sunday. We're going to get all into that on the show here today. If you want to send in a question, tweet me on the Twitter machine at WrestleRant with the hashtag AskGSM. Find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Graham.GSM.Matthews. Leave a comment on the post. I usually put them on Tuesday nights or the wall itself. Or you can drop a comment on this very video. I'll be sure to include it in next week's edition. So two things before we get started here. As always is the case, guys, at least until I graduate in 3 months. Do not have too much time here today, so I know the videos have been running around 30, 40 minutes in recent weeks. Kind of the same case this week. I have class literally at the top of the hour in 40 minutes, so I got to get going soon. So I can't go too in-depth with your questions, but I appreciate your great questions, nevertheless. And also, kind of a preview. Just stay tuned here to the channel on Friday. I've been putting out some teasers, hopefully on Twitter in the last couple days, right here on the channel. Breaking some news on Friday on the random video blog in regards to the channel and some other stuff going on. So just stay tuned for that on Friday right here on the show, on the channel, on the random video blog. So let's get started, guys. First question from Prince5835. Favorite episodes of Raw from each year, 08, 09, 2010, 2011, and 2012. Good question, because obviously Prince knows, and not because he's dead, but Prince5835. Just as good, though. He knows I started watching in 2008, so I was putting together my list, and quite honestly, there's not one episode that stands out as oh my god, my favorite. And it's funny now because all of the episodes, every episode of Raw ever, is up now on the WWE Network, dating back from 93 to the past month, dating back to last month, which is great because they get uploaded every 30 days on the network. So I've been watching a lot of 08 episodes. I put up a lot of 08 episode reviews for Raw this past weekend when I had some time. And I got to go either with the draft. I'm currently in the process of watching it back right now in between me doing stuff and whatever. Whenever I have free time, I watch it. It's not really that great of a show. I just have fond memories of watching it as a kid. My last day of school, I think of 7th grade, and I got home. It was working out perfectly, and the draft always was exciting to me. My first ever draft as a WWE fan. Either that show from June 23rd, 2008, or the April 14th episode from that same year, which of course was the first ever official episode of Raw where I became a fan of WWE. So either one of those. From 09, really not. It's hard to say. I don't really know. There's not many great episodes of Raw, I thought anyway, in the year of 2009. Either, again, the draft, which I also have fond memories of watching at my grandmother's house while I was in the midst of being grounded, long story, or the June 22nd 09 edition. I guess it's kind of timely, considering that Trump was running Raw at that point in time. Yes, Trump owned Raw for an amount of 1 week back in 2009 when he bought it from Vince McMahon and Storyline. It was commercial free. There was a last man standing match at the WWE Championship between Triple H and Randy Orton. Like I said, June 22nd, 09. 2010, again, not many great overall all-around episodes from that year. I remember the 900th episode that year being supremely disappointing. I don't know. There's not many episodes from that year. Maybe the post-WrestleMania Raw where Shawn Michaels retired maybe. That was a good show. May 17th of that year I know was a good show. Just from what I can recall. Again, I think it was also commercial free. Look at that. That kind of is the common theme here. They've only done it twice with Raw, once with SmackDown, I think, but it was cool when they did it. Yeah, in 2010, I think they were in Canada. They did Edge and Christian for the last time ever in WWE before Edge retired the following year. They had Undertaker show up. They had a whole bunch of stuff that night. I think they had Bret Hart win the U.S. Championship against The Miz, too, so that was a pretty good show. 2011, without a doubt, the July 25th episode, I've talked about it here on the channel before many years ago. It's my favorite episode of Raw, probably ever. Really, this kind of in the midst of the summer of Punk, when Punk came back to Cult of Personality. Zack Ryder finally got a rare appearance/win on Monday Night Raw. You had John Morrison return, Jim Ross return. Just a great episode. Still one of my favorite episodes to this day. And from 2012, either Raw 1000, which I don't think gets the credit it deserves. It wasn't a great, it was historic, obviously. It's fucking 1,000 episodes. But it wasn't like setting forward the future. It was really all about moments and people showing up, like Brothers of Destruction reuniting, if only for one night, and all this other cool shit, and like CM Punk turning heel, and the Punk and Cena main event, which was good, and some other good stuff, like the Bryan and AJ Lee wedding, and The Rock returning, in that segment with Daniel Bryan, which was cool. So yeah, a lot of good stuff on that show. Either that episode of Raw from that year, or the post WrestleMania Raw, when Brock Lesnar came back. I think it was Punk and Mark Henry for the WWE Championship in a really good match. The Rock announcing that he was gonna go for the WWE Championship at some point. Lord Tensai, that amazing experiment re-debuting in Raw. So that was a great episode too. Probably would have to lean towards, as great as Raw 1000 was, might have to lean towards that post WrestleMania Raw from 2012. Just really, in my opinion, the start of the amazing moments happening in the Raw after WrestleMania with like the special crowd and whatnot. It's been happening forever, but that was really the mark of it, the beginning of it for me. Second question, favorite championship design? I've always been partial, and this might be surprising to some, I've always been partial to the United States Championship, the current one, which why it makes me so sad that they might be doing away with it reportedly, after Dean Ambrose made a side comment about it on SmackDown not long ago, and then it was reported that the belts might be done away with in favor of like more modern championships, aka the fucking W with a different color. That to me would be super fucking lame. Either the U.S. Championship or the current IC title / Classic, whatever. I've always loved that design too. So probably either one of those. I've always wanted my lifelong dream, or really my fan dream since I started watching wrestling 9 years ago, was to get a United States Championship. I never had, for as many toy belts as I had from Jakks Pacific, I never had the WWE's United States title belt. And to this day, now I want a real one before hopefully they get rid of it. That would suck. But I want a real one with like my name plastered. They're like fucking $300-$400. And I wouldn't bring it to shows or anything. That to me, it seems like, I don't know, I would risk damaging it or losing it or something. I don't know. But I've always loved one of those championships, and I've always wanted to get one of those at some point in time. Favorite GM of all time, William Regal. Not even a question as to who my favorite GM is of all time. When William Regal was running Raw in 2008 was really what got me into wrestling. Had it not been for William Regal as the King of the Ring, running Raw and all that other shit, for as short-lived as it was, that kind of like reign of terror that he had in the spring of 2008, it was what got me hooked on wrestling. And had he not been GM and done that whole evil reign of terror as the Raw general manager, I probably would not be speaking to you right now. So easily favorite GM of all time has got to be William Regal. Or second up, maybe Mike Adamle. I'm just kidding. Next question, favorite intro video of Raw and SmackDown. I don't have a favorite intro video. I have favorite theme songs. I didn't hate Burn It to the Ground by Nickelback. I actually like Nickelback, Burn Me at the Stake now, but I like that theme. I love To Be Loved. Across the Nation from like the Attitude or the Ruthless Aggression era I loved. I've seen that entrance video like a million fucking times, because when John and I, whenever we play like SmackDown and Raw 2007 on PS2 General Manager mode, cheap plug, put up some videos over the past couple weeks about that, over the past couple days rather, we check out, like the first thing we see always is like the intro video for Raw from like 05 or 06 or whatever it was, and I still love it to this day. That's a great entrance video with Across the Nation, set to Across the Nation. But also for SmackDown, I mean, yeah, so those themes are my favorite. I love the current theme. I love whatever the name of the current theme is by fucking, oh God, I forgot. Oh man, I don't remember. Shit, what the fuck is it called? I'm having a brain fart here for a moment. But whatever the current theme song is, you got the world on its knees, you want more, whatever it's called. And I forgot the name of the band. I know who it is, I just forget at the moment for whatever reason. I don't want to kill any more time, but that theme is great. Favorite SmackDown entrance video / theme? I loved Black and Blue when they had that a couple years ago. Was always a big fan of that theme. And This Life too. Again, short-lived, but they were good themes. The other SmackDown themes, I wasn't too big of a fan of. Brandon, I know they're classic, but I'm just not personally a fan. Brandon A., also from YouTube. What's the difference between the alliance of Peyton Royce and Billie Kay and the alliance of Dana Brooke and Emma? Really, there's no difference at all. The funny thing is that we've had so many, if you really think about it, a lot of women's alliances in NXT. Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, Dana Brooke and Emma, Eva Marie and Nia Jax for a time. We had Charlotte and Sasha, and Summer Rae as the BFFs. There might have been one more, but we've had a lot of like women's tag teams, women's alliances, and all of them have been pretty good for the most part. The only difference between those two tandems is that Dana Brooke is American, Emma's Australian, and then the other two are just both Australian. But they're both pretty good. I think Royce and Kay have really come into their own, whatever their current characters are. I can't really describe them in a nutshell, but they've really come into their own as a unit. I really think they've brought in the best out of each other together than they were apart. And I think Dana Brooke and Emma, what really made that good was that it limited Dana Brooke in the ring, because Emma's fucking fantastic. Why they won't put them back together on the main roster, I have no idea. And why they didn't do that months ago, again, I have no idea, because I think they were a money pairing down in NXT. And when they first were brought up to get, not together, but Emma re-debuted on the main roster, right around WrestleMania. Dana Brooke debuted shortly thereafter, then Emma got hurt. They were great then, too, as a unit, so hopefully it's not long before we see them reunite. The second question, in your opinion, what's the best WWE match from each era? 1, the Golden Era, 1984 to 1992. It's got to be, in my opinion, Steamboat Savage from WrestleMania 3. And again, I'm kind of breezing through these. We don't have too much time. That's why I got to go quickly. 2, New Generation, 93 through 97. I mean, I think you guys know I'm not a huge Attitude Era fan, or late 90s fan, or even mid 90s, but best match from that time period, I might have to go Austin Bret Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret Hart from WrestleMania 13. Really an iconic match in my mind. Either that or Iron Man, but I feel like it is not overrated, but not as great as many people paint it out to be. So I would go with Austin Hart from WrestleMania 13 the following year. Attitude Era, 98 through 2001. I know a lot of people are going to say like Stone Cold and Rock. I don't know, the WrestleMania 17 match and the build was amazing. The match was great. I still think their first match was better. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of the finish. Not the fact that McMahon joined Stone Cold. That in and of itself was stupid. But just the way that it was done, and the countless chair shots, and they were in his hometown of Texas anyway, so we got cheered. It was just really weird. So I'm not a huge fan of that. I know it's like an iconic match that really kind of marked the end of the Attitude Era, but I don't know. I don't know if I would call it the greatest match of all time. From that time period anyway. I would go with like one of the Triple H Cactus Jack matches, either at the Rumble in 2000 or the following one, the No Way Out inside Hell in the Cell. Both those matches might be my personal best matches from that time period. Ruthless Aggression 02 to 07. A lot of great wrestling, but I'm going to have to go Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle. I'm impartial towards that match. You guys know I put up my whole top 5 favorite Kurt Angle matches here on YouTube a couple weeks ago. I think that was number 1. It had to be number 1. That match from WrestleMania 21 was fucking phenomenal, so I got to go that match. Either that or the Broadway between Cena and Michaels on Raw. You said 07, so Michaels, Cena, Raw, April 07 is also up there, but I got to go Michaels and Angle just purely based off build and in-ring action and the drama and the feud that followed throughout the rest of 2005. Just great shit. 2008 to 2015, the PG era. Obviously, no question, Shawn Michaels and Undertaker won from WrestleMania 25. And then new era / second brand extension 2016 to present day. So not that big of a window, obviously. But I would go Cena Styles, quite honestly, from SummerSlam of last year. I think that is the... you said WWE, so I'm not going to say like any NXT matches. But I will say, then if NXT is included, then DIY and Revival from last year's TakeOver Toronto. But WWE purely... solely WWE, got to go Cena style SummerSlam. Next question of his, if you were a professional wrestler and went on the road, what 4 guys in the WWE roster would you want to be your boys, aka your personal version of the Clique? Great question. I don't know any of these guys personally. I've met 3 or 4 of them, and the other guy I've interviewed. So AJ Styles, because he seems like a pretty chill fucking dude, and I've met him, and he was really chill in person. As well as Samoa Joe. So AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, 2 of the nicest down-to-earth guys I've ever met, wrestling-wise. Kevin Owens, same thing, also a genuinely good guy. And he loves to go to zoos, too, so I would love to go to a zoo with Kevin Owens. That would be marking an item off my bucket list. You just got off the list. And speaking of who, my 4th guy would be Chris Jericho. So my 4 Clique members would be AJ Styles, Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens, and Samoa Joe. What a fucking clique that would be. AJ, Jericho, Joe, and Owens. Wow. His next question, which 2 WrestleManias do you wish you could have attended? One before 2008 when you became a fan, and one after. Another good question. I think I've answered this before, but one before WrestleMania 21. Again, Michaels and Angle would have been worth going to that show alone. But I really like WrestleMania 21. I know people are going to say, like, oh, WrestleMania 17. And it is arguably the greatest WrestleMania of all time, but based off personal preference, 21 I love a lot. Is probably my favorite WrestleMania that I was not a fan for. So definitely WrestleMania 21. 17's up there, but I got to go 21. And then WrestleMania I could have been in attendance for, or would have wanted to be in attendance for in the past 9 years. WrestleMania 31. 2008 or 2012 is up there. WrestleMania 28 is up there. But I think WrestleMania 31, all these years later, I can safely say has surpassed 28 is my favorite WrestleMania of all time. I fucking love that show. So I would have loved to have been in attendance for WrestleManias 21 or 31. Emmanuel A., regarding the Royal Rumble 2004, I actually would have loved to see Chavo versus Eddie Guerrero as a longer match. It actually got a pretty strong build-up on SmackDown with Chavo turning on Eddie, Kurt Angle trying to play Peacemaker, interestingly enough, and Chavo classic siding with his son over his brother Eddie. The match only lasted for 8 minutes and 3 seconds, funnily enough, the third longest match of the night, and the only other match besides Triple H and Shawn Michaels in the Rumble itself to exceed 8 minutes, and ended in disqualification. Would you have liked to see a 16 to 20-minute match, a Chavo-Eddie match, or do you not care? I think that would have been great. I completely agree. I think that's one of the more underrated matches from that Rumble event. It's not like a 5-star classic, but for what it was, and lame finish aside, it was a really good match, and I enjoyed the feud. The thing about it was that they really kind of had to rush it, so that kind of makes it all the more impressive because they had to get Eddie in that WrestleMania main event. He went from fucking beating Chavo via DQ on this show in 8 minutes to winning the WWE title. I think 13 years ago today, I saw someone post on my timeline today on Twitter. So he went from beating Brock Lesnar, from beating Chavo via DQ in 8 minutes to then beating Brock Lesnar. I think they had a match on the post WrestleMania SmackDown. I think like a champion and champion match because I know Chavo, I think he either won. No, I think he won the Cruiserweight title in No Way Out. Did he not? I think he left WrestleMania as Cruiserweight champion. Whatever the case. And then Chavo Classic's involvement, I thought that was great. So yeah, I do agree. I would have loved to have seen a more lengthy match between the two. I think we would get it on SmackDown later on. But I do give them credit for making the feud as intriguing and as compelling as it was, considering the circumstances that Eddie had to be rushed into the WWE title picture, and rightfully so, deservedly so. But I thought this match did deserve more than what it got. I completely agree. Captain Sunshine, where does the Festival of Friendship rank in all-time greatest Raw segments? I really want to know. Let's bring up all the top Raw promos or whatever and analyze this. What else do we have? CM Punk's pipe bomb, Bret Hart reuniting with the Hart family against America, the Selman color jacket, Mark Henry's retirement. What else am I not thinking of? All those segments are, in my opinion, either top 5 or top 10 best Raw segments of all time. Obviously, the one segment that you forgot there that I would compare the Festival of Friendship to is This Is Your Life from 99, the highest rated segment in Raw history between The Rock and Mankind. Is it better than that? I'd have to watch it back. I mean, I love the Festival of Friendship just because I'm a big Jericho fan, and I wasn't around back then. I mean, even though I wasn't a fan, I think it really says a lot that even though I wasn't a fan back in 99, I can watch back that This Is Your Life segment and still laugh my fucking ass off because it's classic content. In terms of obviously This Is Your Life will go down as the greatest Raw segment ever just in terms of the ratings that it did, the highest rated segment of all time. And I think the Raw rating this week went down. So, but in terms of critically acclaimed and what it succeeded in doing, This Is Your Life was purely just off the cuff shit, just pure entertainment, as was Festival of Friendship. But the Festival of Friendship also led to the breakup, the official breakup of Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens, which I knew we all knew was going to happen eventually, but I thought it would either happen at Fastlane or after Fastlane. It happened 2 weeks before Owens defends the title against Goldberg, 2 or 3 weeks before he defends against Goldberg at the pay-per-view, so I was surprised about that, but I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I thought it was done perfectly. And the fucking reveal, even before the reveal, the painting had me crying. That was hilarious. Few things I'll get a chuckle out of a few things that, that Owens will say or whoever will do or say in wrestling, and I'll laugh out loud. But that painting had me literally almost dying. Okay, maybe not literally, but figuratively dying for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. That was pure laugh out loud funny material. That was fucking gold. That was fucking gold. As golden as that statue sitting in the ring. The painting was great. Gilbert was great. The over-the-top shit was amazing. Jericho was so great in that role. And then, a new list. I needed a new list. The other one was getting a bit full. Wait, why is my name on this list? And my heart sank. My heart sank. How many times in wrestling? And I my fucking profile picture on Twitter and Facebook is me with Kevin Owens. And as much as I love Owens, like the only other time I can compare that to, like I have not felt that depressed, like in a wrestling state, than I have since probably the streak ended. I mean, like wrestling deaths aside, obviously, since the streak ended back in 2014, 3 years ago. But like when Rollins, like the only other feeling I can compare it to, like, wow, fuck you. Like I fucking hate you in storyline. Like I'm not going to send him death threats or anything. Obviously that's stupid. And anyone who does that is moronic. But, so with Kevin Owens, like as big of a fan as I am of Owens, I think it speaks volumes that he got me to hate him and what he did to Jericho on Monday night. Like that, you cannot succeed in doing that these days. Like he would get cheered any other week if they didn't do it the right way, but he got booed out of the building on Monday. I thought that was done brilliantly. Is it my favorite Raw segment of all time? It's definitely up there. It's got to be top 5 now. That was a fucking great segment. Greatest of all time, debatable, definitely. But it's up there. It's got to be up there. And undoubtedly one of the greatest segments in many, many years. At least since I love the whole DX and Damian Sandow segment from the aforementioned Raw 1000 show in 2012. Still love that to this day. That was genuinely funny stuff for me. But beyond that, probably the greatest Raw segment, or the Mark Henry retirement in 2013, as you alluded to. But hands down, one of the best Raw segments in at least 3 to 4 years. Next question from Steve R. from Facebook. Do you think the WWE will give Bray Wyatt a long run as champ or just a thank you for good work in the past? I don't think it's going to be a long run. Whether it's Bray and Orton or Bray, Orton, Harper, which it looks like it might be, and I'll get to that in a moment. But it doesn't look like Bray will be holding the championship long. Even if it's a triple threat at Mania, I still think Orton walks out as the champion, which I don't really want to see, but I mean, Bray was not meant to have a long reign as champion. I mean, I think it's great. Let's appreciate the fact he has the belt at all. I never really thought. I mean, I think we all knew it would happen eventually, but I think our hopes were kind of decreasing by the year when they would book him worse and worse and worse and worse. But they finally did it. They've finally been booking him right. One of the runner-ups in the Rumble, wins the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber, pins Cena twice clean in the matter of 48 hours, winning the tag team titles at TLC. Winning for Team SmackDown at Survivor Series, beating Randy Orton in the main event at No Mercy. The guy's been having the best 4 or 5 months of his career since October. And before that, he was left off SummerSlam. He was left off WrestleMania. He didn't wrestle, and he got fucking verbally buried by The Rock. I don't care what anyone says. He got verbally buried by The Rock on that show. But that being said, I think let's appreciate the fact he has the belt at all. But as much as I would love to see a long reign from him, I just don't see it happening right now. Maybe down the line. I do not see him walking out of Mania with the championship intact, but I mean, it's possible. It's definitely possible. So I don't know if it's really a thank you. I think it's more of like I guess it could be, but I think it's more of like this is what the storyline calls for. You should be champion right now. But I think it really is like the you deserve it chance, or really obviously well deserved, because Bray Wyatt has long earned that championship, and only the second shot he's ever had at a world championship. The first one being the Money in the Bank 2014 pay-per-view that RJ was in attendance for in Boston many years ago. That Bray Wyatt lost, obviously, but since then he has not gotten a WWE title match. And only his second shot at the title, he wins. So that's incredible. But yeah, we'll see how long it lasts. I just do not see him walking out of Mania with the title intact. I hope I'm wrong, though. Roger W., also from Facebook. Any chance that Brock interferes and calls Goldberg at Fastlane, and maybe a new faction of Goldberg, the Club, Joe, and Owens, with one of them getting involved? The stable intrigues me. I know Triple H talked to Kevin Owens on Monday night, and obviously he's good buddies with Joe. He's got that buddy-buddy relationship with Joe, and maybe the Club are in on it, which would be great for them to kind of get... I mean, they were great with AJ. I don't know how great they would be with Triple H, but at least it gives them something to do, you know? And you can also say, like, Triple H brought me in, we're Triple H guys, because Joe and Owens are definitely Triple H guys, you know? Maybe even Finn Balor when he comes back. I doubt they would do that. They need baby faces right now, so I doubt they would turn him when he first comes back. But anyway, so yeah, no, I think I don't think Brock interferes. I think there's a better chance at this point. What I would do is you have Jericho interfere and cost Jericho the champion. It cost Owens the championship. Excuse me. I think like what I said last week, having Goldberg squash Owens. You know Goldberg's winning the championship. But having him squash Owens is even worse off now than it was a week ago, based off like the incredible amount of heat that Owens got in that Raw segment. to tarnish that and just, I mean, they beat Brock in fucking 90 seconds at Survivor Series, so I guess I can't say that I wouldn't be surprised. But I think to ruin that by having him getting beat by Goldberg in a minute would be just abysmal. That would be mind-bogglingly dumb. So I really hope they don't go in that direction. I would much rather protect Owens in defeat by having at least like a 5-minute main event, at least 5 minutes. And then you have Jericho come in and cost him the championship, and that sets up that WrestleMania match. Because Jericho's like hurt right now in storyline, so maybe he returns at Fastlane. I don't know. I mean, you can't really build that feud up in the meantime while Owens is fixated on Goldberg. So that's what I would do. I think it's a better idea than Brock interfering than costing Goldberg, because he's already got the champion. He's already got his match with Goldberg at WrestleMania. So why would he cost him the championship? You know, because if he can beat Goldberg, if Goldberg can win the belt at Fastlane, then he himself can beat Goldberg for the belt at Mania. So Brock interfering in storyline would make very little sense. Jeremy B. also from Facebook, do you think Luke Harper will end up added to the Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt match for the title at WrestleMania? So I would have said no. When Jeremy first sent this in, it was right after SmackDown. And then literally an hour later, and I know I was going back and forth with at Seth Gutt on the Twitter, great dude, about this, about how it's very unlikely Luke Harper will be added to the title match, just considering that he lost to Orton on Sunday. If they were going to have him added, then he would have beaten him. But then literally like an hour after Jeremy sent in this question, it was announced on Talking Smack that because Orton doesn't want to face Bray, which is bullshit and he will face him, that a battle royal will be held next week with the winner facing the WWE champion Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. So I assume Luke Harper wins that, and then you get the triple threat at Mania, which is infinitely better than Orton and Wyatt one-on-one. I've said that for fucking weeks now. Orton and Wyatt at WrestleMania one-on-one would fucking blow. Unless Wyatt's the babyface and they turn Orton heel, which does not appear to be the direction they're headed in, then I feel like it would be super stupid to do one-on-one just because their No Mercy match fucking sucked. And it's not a matter of, they have more storyline, progression now. They have more storyline development. It's not the case. I mean, the story's been great, but their in-ring chemistry fucking sucks. Their match in No Mercy fucking sucked. They're way better allies in terms of matches than they are opponents. But putting Harper in there who can go, I mean, Harper and, Orton and Wyatt can go too, just the chemistry they have just is not good. But if you throw Harper in there, that's infinitely more exciting and way more unpredictable. Because if Wyatt happens one-on-one, Orton, probably 80%, I would guess, is a possibility that he wins. So I would definitely add Harper to the match. I think it's way more likely after last night than it was heading into SmackDown on Tuesday. Zach P., also from Facebook, within the next year or so, do you think The Miz deserves another world title run? I personally think it would be rather awesome, no pun intended. I completely agree. I think Miz... I think right now is not the time. I mean, I've been saying for a while, AJ and Miz for the belt at Mania, but obviously they have different plans. So that being said, Miz does deserve to be world champion at some point, just if only for the work that he's put in over the past year as IC champion and upper mid-carder on SmackDown. So yeah, hopefully he does get that title at some point coming out of WrestleMania in the spring. Please do not draft him to Raw. He's going to fucking die a death on Monday nights if they draft him. So hopefully he stays on SmackDown. If he does, I could definitely see him as world champion at some point in 2017. Fingers crossed. Mark S., his question was, what do you think of adding the stipulation to the Roman Reigns-Braun Strowman match at Fastlane, where the winner is guaranteed a WrestleMania match and will face The Undertaker? Not a big fan. I think Reigns and Strowman kind of sells itself. I think they don't really need something to fight for. And Roman would win, too, at least... without a stipulation or anything on the line, there's a chance Braun might win. But if you guarantee, the winner's going to face Taker at Mania, Roman's going to win based off what happened at the Rumble a couple weeks ago. So I don't think it's necessary. And also, Roman doesn't want to face Taker. It's Taker that would want to face Roman after he got thrown out of the Rumble by Roman Reigns. So that really wouldn't make too much sense anyway. His next question, seeing that rumors are going around that Nikki Bella is retiring after WrestleMania, would it have been better than Nikki Bella won the women's title at WrestleMania against Alexa Bliss and declared that she had to give up the title on the following SmackDown due to injury instead of Naomi winning it at Elimination Chamber? No. I figured the plan for the longest time would have been to put the belt on Nikki at Mania, but I'm glad they're not going in that direction, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I will say I'm not like a Nikki Bella hater. I was many years ago, but not that I'm the biggest Nikki Bella fan now, but she's come a long way. She is way more tolerable as a babyface right now. The matches she had with Natalya, the match they had on Sunday I thought was actually pretty good. The matches that she had with Carmella were pretty decent. So, yeah, no, I think, but that being said, though, I just don't think it's, I just don't think it's necessary to keep that belt on Nikki Bella, to get the belt on Nikki Bella. She's the longest reigning Divas champion. It's not like it's going to be a big payoff. If she goes out and she closes out her career with a mixed tag team match with John Cena at WrestleMania, that's more than enough to close out her career, or at least her active career, on a high note before she becomes a part-timer or whatever. But Naomi winning the belt was long overdue. Nikki Bella winning the championship is like, cool. Naomi winning, to me, was a lot cooler just because she's long deserved it. She's been in this fucking company for like 7, 8, 9 years, and she finally won the belt on Sunday. Thank God. So whether she drops it next week or at WrestleMania, which I kind of expect, but at least she had her moment at Chamber. So, no, I like the direction they're going in instead of what you pitched. His next question, would you have had the Ascension win the SmackDown Tag Team titles at Elimination Chamber, considering the way that the match developed? No, I would not have. The Ascension, despite the fact they've been giving them more like reason for fans to buy into them, it's not going to work. They're fucking losers. They've been labeled as losers for so long that no one takes them seriously. It doesn't matter if they pin Heath Slater and Rhino on SmackDown, or they nearly beat the champs at the pay-per-view, which I thought there was a chance that they could have, but I'm glad they did not. That would have been so stupid. They had a pretty competitive match on SmackDown this week, but that ship sailed years ago. If you wanted to make them a dominant threat, you should have done it 2 years ago when you had the chance. Now people just don't fucking care, and there's really like no rehabbing them. Maybe like Breezango, I think, is a better priority. They should be a bigger priority right now. Maybe the Vaudevillains. The Ascension are not high on that list at all. I think all hope is lost for those guys. I think they are losers for life at this point. What is your favorite venue to host the pay-per-view? Either Allstate Arena in Chicago, which is always a great crowd, or Barclays, because we went there. I went there for SummerSlam last year, or 2015 and 2016, and it's an amazing arena. It's a little steep up top, but it's a great arena, great acoustics. TD Garden, too. Been there a number of times for Raw, SmackDown pay-per-views. Always great. But yeah, probably got to go with either Barclays or Allstate Arena just for the... Being there at Barclays, I'm biased, but Allstate Arena just for the Chicago crowd, and they're always awesome. At Brad Bernard, don't have too much time here, so I got to speed through these following questions. I apologize. At Brad Bernard, do you think that someone in the WWE creative has a legitimate grudge against Tyson Kidd? He worked his ass off for years in the company, consistently putting on great matches, making the best out of every angle that he was in, and making anyone he stepped in the ring with look like $1 million. Yet despite that, he was not given one singles title and had to watch multiple guys not anywhere near as good as him receive championships. Sorry for the rant, I just feel sorry for the guy. He's at home nursing a broken neck, hearing that his wife had to say how she would have ended up with John Cena must have been really hurtful. That she should have ended up with John Cena would have been really hurtful, rather. Yeah, Tyson Kidd deserved better. I don't see him as world fucking champ. Like, even if he was active today, I honestly don't think Tyson Kidd would be world champion. He's just not on that level. But he could have been a solid, IC champion. I still say to this day that they missed the boat in pushing him as a single star back in 2012 when he got that little surge heading into Money in the Bank, and it went nowhere afterwards because he was just kind of the spot monkey in that match. But that would have been the time to push him, put the IC, which they ended up putting on fucking Miz anyway, the IC title or the US title on the guy. It would have done him wonders, but they didn't. He was a glorified tag team guy, which, again, he made the most out of. And it sucks his career is probably over. I'm almost certain of that. And yeah, I think the comments with Natalya and Nikki, I think he probably understands that it's all on kayfabe and whatever. I think if anyone understands that, it would be him. Otherwise, they wouldn't have. Otherwise, Natalya would not have said that. But maybe we'll find out on Total Divas, which Tyson Kidd has been completely off of for whatever reason. He was one of the best parts of that show. But yeah, no, I feel bad for the guy. I think he deserves more. Not to say that he should be wrestling, because obviously his neck was almost broken, or was broken, whatever. But they should bring him up every once in a while. To completely ignore the guy, to me, is a slap in the face. His second question, what is the most underrated, or rather underused, match stipulation in WWE? Overused would be Steel Cage. Underused? That's a good question. I mean, there's a couple Iron Man or Inferno, but those shouldn't be used all the time anyway. I don't know. I mean, there's a couple good... Beat the Clock I like? I don't know. I can't really say. I think every stipulation kind of gets a healthy amount of time whenever they're used. Some more than others. I think less Extreme Rules matches, the better. Like, the more occasionally you bring them up, the more they mean. So I think holding them every single week is not a great option. At Amanda450 Splash, one wrestling event you wish you were in attendance for. Money in the Bank 2011, one of my favorite pay-per-views of all time, right up there with TakeOver Brooklyn, which I was in attendance for. But if Brooklyn is not beating that event and it's second place to Money in the Bank, I gotta go Money in the Bank just because I was at TakeOver. So the only other show I wish I was in attendance for, other than WrestleMania 31, would have to be my favorite pay-per-view of all time, Money in the Bank 2011 in Chicago. Favorite wrestling memory, favorite wrestling-related YouTuber. Favorite wrestling memory. There's so many. Like when I first started watching, going to my first show, going to my first SummerSlam, meeting a lot of you guys, just based, not to be sappy, but just meeting a lot of you guys based out of wrestling would definitely be up there. I don't know. I can't pinpoint one moment. Like watching certain shows with certain people was always fun for me and always is fun for me. No. I can't really say, like, I can't pinpoint one moment. Just wrestling has really brought me probably more memorable moments in my life than anything else in my entire existence. And favorite wrestling-related YouTuber, I know Raven Siram. He does mashups. He's pretty good. I don't subscribe, honestly, to a lot of wrestling YouTube channels. Jason's channel, he doesn't do a lot of wrestling, but Blue Eye to Soda, I plug him all the time. He's an amazing guy. Love Jason. We just spent an hour and a half on the phone talking the other day about just miscellaneous stuff, and it's always great talking to Jason. He's been on the show here before. But just subscribe to his channel. And I don't know, I'm not subscribed to a lot of YouTube channels. I don't like the clutter in my newsfeed, other than WWE's. But I guess Raven Siram, I don't know how you pronounce it, but he's a great YouTuber as well. He does mashups. At Shaw Markistic, was the Festival of Friendship better than This Is Your Life? Again, hard to say. I don't think so. I think it comes close. I mean, it's hard to say 2 days later. Like, the overall impact, I think you got to take into consideration, which we can't right now. We're only 48 hours removed from it. But it's up there. I think the fact we're even comparing the two goes to show how great it was. Thoughts on Wyatt having 2 pinfalls on John Cena this week? That's fucking huge. I mean, I think it's almost like poetic justice, too. Because I think John Cena was the reason, not him personally, but that whole feud with Cena was a waste of time. The matches were not all that good, other than maybe the Last Man Standing match. But other than that, their matches sucked between Cena and Wyatt back in 2014. The Mania match was not good. The Extreme Rules match inside the steel cage was even worse. But I think it's almost poetic justice, kind of in the process of rebuilding Wyatt as a main event guy, or not even rebuilding, but rather building him up as a main event guy. He pinned Cena clean twice in the matter of 2 days, is a major endorsement, so I'm a big fan of that. Absolutely. At RJ_Marceau, what does the WWE do with Braun Strowman at WrestleMania? Has he been built up too strong to be wasted? He has. I mean, he shouldn't be put in like a kickoff match with fucking Titus on. They won't do that, but I'm glad they're getting the Big Show match out of the way on Raw this week, so that means they're not doing it at WrestleMania, and we might get Big Show and Shaq instead, which they've been hyping up on social media, which should happen in my opinion. I've been waiting for that forever. Don't ask why. But I don't know, unless he's in the Andre Battle Royal, I guess he could win that, which would be cool. But even that, I feel like it'd be a waste of Strowman. He's been one of the better parts of Raw for so long now. To put him even in that, I feel like would be kind of underutilizing the guy. So I don't know. I'm not really sure what you do with him at WrestleMania. Maybe Zayn and Strowman again, and Zayn's finally the one to beat him, and the U.S. belt is on the line. Like, maybe that's an option. I know RJ pitched to me, like, Strowman wins the Battle Royal. Like, that'd be a good idea. Like, I think that'd be really, really cool to see Strowman, Wyatt, and Orton in Mania, just considering the history alone that Strowman has. The history that Strowman has with Wyatt. But I don't see that happening, especially before Fastlane, just because Strowman's busy with Roman. I don't see that happening. It's definitely a long shot. But no, I hope they find a good place for him on the card where he's not on the fucking kickoff show. He's been one of the better parts of Monday nights for so long. I think it'd be a slap in the face to have him in anything other than at least like a match on the main card. Like, that's all I ask for. Even if it's the Battle Royal and he wins, even that's kind of a stretch. I think they should be using him in a better role than that, but at least it's something. I guess we'll find out in the weeks ahead. At Scarlet One, we'll finish off with their questions. Only 3 more here. How do you feel about I almost said Bray Wyatt. Bayley winning the world title. Okay, Bray Wyatt won the world title. Bayley won the women's title on Raw this week. Also, has she ever worn colored boots before last night? I don't think so. I noticed that too. I'm like, are those different boots? Like that? Like, they look like sneakers. So no, I don't think so. But I got to keep this short. But Bayley winning the title, It was a cool moment. I like Bayley a lot, but I just feel like it was premature. It depends where they're going with it. If Charlotte wins back the belt at Fastlane, fuck off. Like, that's fucking stupid. We've seen this so many times with Sasha. Charlotte doesn't benefit. Like, the streak means nothing if she can't win on Raw. Like, who fucking cares, you know? And it makes Bayley look like a loser, too, because a lot like Sasha, she can't win when it matters most. So I hope that's not the direction they're going in. I think maybe if they do Bayley Banks at Mania, then what do you do with Charlotte? Like, that's the real question. You get a 4-way with Nia, Charlotte, Bayley, and Banks. Like, I guess that's an idea, but I really do think it should be one-on-one. I don't really know. I mean, it was more like, oh, yay, like, cool, like, Bayley won the title, as opposed to, like, oh, my God, this is great, just because I think we all saw it coming, which isn't a bad thing. I saw her title win in Brooklyn coming a couple years ago, but I just felt like it was the wasting moment on Raw that could have been saved for a pay-per-view or even WrestleMania. So we'll see where it goes. Best and worst of Elimination Chamber. Best, obviously, the main event. Orton Harper was great. In the women's title match, that was really good. Worst, the tag title match. I missed a majority of it. My power went out. Thank God I missed, like, the garbage of the show, including that match for the most part. I caught, like, the final few minutes, but it was not a thrilling match at all. And then Mickey and Becky was good. It was all right. The other women's match, Nikki and Natalya was all right. The other match, what was it? Oh, Ziggler and Cruz and Kalisto was a fucking waste of time, too. So that was the worst. Best women's title match, Orton Harper, main event. How do you feel about Valentine's Day, to close it off here? I honestly don't hate it, and I never have. It's not just because I'm in a relationship now. I've spent way more Valentine's Days alone than I have in a relationship. But that's, I don't know. I don't love Valentine's Day. I don't hate it. And I said this yesterday on my Twitter, on my personal Twitter, but you gotta love yourself before others can love you. I don't really think it matters whether you're single or in a relationship. You just gotta love yourself. I mean, that's really what comes, first and foremost, in my opinion. If you hate the holiday, that's fine. If you love it, that's fine too. I was walking to pick up a package earlier here at my school. Before we sign off, I'll just give you this brief anecdote. I was walking to pick up a package that someone sent me, my girlfriend sent me for Valentine's Day, or yesterday rather, not today. And they're like, oh, he sent me this and not this. I'm like, fuck off, you dumb bitch. Like, I apologize for the language. Like, fuck off. Are you serious? Like, your boyfriend sent you something. Like, be appreciative. You know what I mean? Like, if someone did that to me, like I sent them something and they're like, oh, it's not what I wanted, but it's okay. Like, fuck you. I'd dump your ass in a fucking second. I hope they break up in the next week. You stupid ass. But no, yeah, I don't mind Valentine's Day at all. Just stupid shit like that when people focus way too much on gifts, like in the roses. I'm not going to pay. I got my girlfriend these cheesecake things from Sherry's Berries, which are great website, by the way. The delivery system is awesome. Great site. But I don't want to buy roses for $60, and maybe you will. I don't know. My girlfriend doesn't live near me, so I got to buy them online. So maybe it costs more online. I don't know. But to me, it's not. It's just all materialistic bullshit. Like, if you waste way too much money on fucking flowers, I mean, that's great, but it's the thought that counts. I mean, you should just be there for your significant other or just for yourself, your friends. You should be telling people you love them every single day. It's like Thanksgiving. You shouldn't wait until one day of the year to tell people that you're thankful for them. You should be doing that every single fucking day. Valentine's, I'm not saying you should be getting your significant other gifts every single day, but you should be telling them that you love them every single fucking day, because you never know what might happen. Not to sound, morbid or anything, or dark or whatever, but anything might happen. Tomorrows are never guaranteed. Just tell them you love them, and if they don't appreciate your gift, probably a sign you should kick them to the curb. So fuck off anyone who doesn't like their gifts, or on Valentine's Day. It's the same thing with Christmas too. I love Christmas. Don't really mind Valentine's Day. I actually kind of like Valentine's Day, even though, like, again, I'm only in a relationship this year, but like last year it was, and I still like Valentine's Day, whatever. But if you focused way too much on the materialistic fucking bullshit, fuck off. I was going to talk about this on Injection of Inspiration on Saturday. I still might, but I feel like I got my venting out here today. But anyway, guys, literally got to run in the next 8 minutes. I'm going to be late for class, but who fucking cares? I got 3 months. If you want to send in a question, tweet me on the Twitter machine at WrestleRant with the hashtag AskGSM. Find me on Facebook at facebook.com/GrahamGSM.Matthews. Drop a comment on the post I usually put up on Tuesday nights or on the wall itself. And last but not least, drop a comment in this very video. I'll be sure to include it in next week's edition. So all that being said, guys, hope you guys enjoyed your Valentine's Day on Tuesday. Enjoy NXT tonight, Impact, whatever the fuck you're watching. Not Lucha, because it's not on Netflix. Fuck you, El Rey, or fuck you, Netflix, or whoever fucked that up. But anyway, I feel like I'm getting all my aggression out here today. This is great. But have an amazing week, guys. We'll be right back here next week for an all-new episode. And again, stay tuned here on the channel on Friday for a breaking news blockbuster announcement. In my eyes, anyway, in my mind. Maybe it's not for you, but we'll find out on Friday on the Random Video Blog 2/17/2017. Don't miss it, guys. Have an amazing week. I'll catch you guys down the road.